Okay. All right. I have received word that we are ready to begin. So with that, the Board of Supervisors for the University of Louisiana System met in executive session to discuss personnel matters associated with this search for the president at McNeese State University. While in executive session, no motions were made nor votes taken. Is there a motion to reconvene in open session? Moved by Supervisor Dunho, second by Supervisor Salter. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We are reconvened in open session. We're now ready to begin our second interview with finalist Dr. Andy Benoit. Again, I would like to remind members of the format. Dr. Benoit will provide an opening statement, and then board members will pose questions. Following the public interview, we will enter into executive session to further dialogue with Dr. Benoit. Are there any questions from board members at this time? All right, hearing none, we're going to go ahead and proceed with the interview. And so this time I'd like to invite Dr. Benoit to join us at the table. And President Gallo, would you provide a bit of a background as he proceeds forward?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Dr. Andy Benoit is an experienced educator and leader in higher education administration, specializing in enrollment management, student success, and strategic planning. He holds a Doctor of Education degree from Liberty University, a Master of Education from McNeese State University, and a Bachelor of Arts from the same institution, McNeese. Currently serving as Vice President of Enrollment Management at Texas A&M University, Corpus Christi, he oversees recruitment, financial aid, scholarships, orientation, and military services while shaping strategic enrollment plans and fostering community partnerships. Throughout his career, he has driven increases in enrollment and retention rates, secured grants, and promoted diversity and inclusion. Prior to his current role, he achieved notable growth at Lander University and held leadership positions at the University of Louisiana at Lafayette. He also teaches public speaking as an adjunct instructor.
All right. Well, thank you, Dr. Benoit, for joining us today. Before you give your opening statement, I would like members of the board to introduce themselves to you. Bailey, we're going to begin with you today to introduce ourselves. All right, good. Yeah, now it is.
I'm Julie Stokes, and I'm on the Board of Commissioners from Board of Supervisors, sorry, from New Orleans area.
My name is Joe Salter, and I'm from Sabine Parish.
Lola Donahoe from Natchitoches, Louisiana.
Virgil Robinson from New Orleans, Louisiana. Mark Romero, Iberia Parish.
Brad Stevens, Tangipahoa Parish.
Jimmy Clark, Lafayette.
Dana Peterson, New Orleans.
Joe Leatherman, Baton Rouge.
John Noble, the Kingdom of Imperial Calcasieu.
Barry Lusada, Shreveport.
All right. Thank you, members. And now, Dr. Benoit, would you take a few moments to introduce yourself and provide the board with an opening statement?
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Mr. President, members of the board staff. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here with you to talk about my interest in, do I need to pull it closer to me? Okay. How about now? Am I good? Thank you all so very much. It's my privilege to be with you today to be able to talk with you about my interest in this position. I am a native of Imperial Calcasieu as well as Dr. Noble. I grew up and was born in Rain, Louisiana, and grew up the first 3 years of my life in Lake Arthur, Louisiana, and then the rest of my adult life in Welsh, Louisiana. I am a child of Southwest Louisiana, happily grew up there, and it will always be a part of who I am and where I've come from. My parents grew up in the Depression. I am a first-generation college student. My father had a middle school education and my mother a high school education. And throughout their life, they worked hard and made sure that I had the opportunity to have education and the importance of what an education can do. That made a mark on me. I went to my first college campus when I was 14 years old, and it was McNeese State University. And it was an opportunity for me to go there as a high school student at one of the different programs that the university hosted, and I fell in love with higher education. The opportunity of it, the avenue that an individual has to be enriched by it. You know, every opportunity I could to go back, I went. And as a student, I chose to attend McNeese State University and happily graduated from there over time twice. McNeese has always been a part of my life. Southwest Louisiana has always been a part of my life. McNeese helped me grow as an individual. It helped me learn. It helped me make good decisions. It helped me make mistakes. It helped me to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. And it gave me my first opportunity in this profession. It gave me an opportunity to be a recruiter when I graduated. I've been doing it ever since. It was an opportunity for me to fall in love with something where I had the opportunity to be able to help students find their purpose, to help them find the life-altering promise of what is education, to help them find the opportunity that I was once given. And I've been paying it back ever since for 3 decades. My field is in areas of enrollment management, student success, and student services. And that's why I'm here. There was that one job throughout my career, and I told the group this last week, that if ever I had the opportunity to come back and help and to serve, it's this one. And right now I had the opportunity to use the 30 years of experience that I have to be able to come back and help my university grow and prosper in enrollment in other areas. And I look forward to doing that. In this position, the university has a lot of opportunity right now because the university's gone through much change over the course of the last 3 to 5 years. President Burkell and his team have worked through a lot of different things, especially since 2020. And I propose, as I mentioned to the group last week, that we come together as one McNeese, and it has 5 different components. The first of which is enrollment and student success. When I left the university to take a job in 1999 at LSU, we had about 7,900 students. Right now, the university has 5,400. There is an opportunity, I believe, to help the university to reach its potential and to be able to help our students be successful. The second area is academic achievement, academic enhancement, academic support. When our students come into the university, it's incumbent upon us to help them be successful, to provide the avenues for engagement, opportunities for them to be able to have the resources to be successful. Third, to enhance the student experience, to give our students a world-class experience when they're on our campus, but also to prepare them to be successful with things like mentorship and internships and co-ops, opportunities for experiential learning, for them to be able to grow and prosper. Fourth, through collaborative partnerships that we create with our community, within our alumni, within everyone who is associated within our greater community as a university, to help the university prosper. We don't lead in a vacuum. We come together and bring everyone together to help McNeese move forward. And finally, it's about the value proposition in higher ed right now. As I told the group last week, my first semester tuition bill at McNeese was $698. It's not that right now. Our students and our families make a commitment to higher education. They make a commitment to the future of their student. And as a university, we have to be good steward of the funds and make sure that our students graduate with the least amount of debt, that we do everything that we can to help generate scholarship opportunities and opportunities to help our students find success and assistance to help their career as a student, but to help prepare them in life to be successful. So that's why I'm here. I'm here to offer all of my experience and all the different things that I have worked together with over the course of the last 3 decades to help McNeese State University achieve its promise and to be successful. So I stand open for your questions. And again, thank you for the opportunity.
Well, thank you, Dr. Benoit. We appreciate your willingness to be here before us, and I will turn it over to my fellow board members to pose some questions. I believe, Dr. Leatherman, you'll go first.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My question for you is, in difficult budgetary times, what do you do as a leader to inspire confidence, raise morale, and maintain institutional effectiveness?
Thank you very much, Dr. Leatherman, for the question. It is so very important that as leaders, that we are very transparent with our staff and with the entire university community. Budgets don't come together and budget problems are not solved in a vacuum. As I said, you cannot serve as leaders in a vacuum. You have to be transparent. You have to be able to be working as a team with your cabinet across the board and with the entire university community. You know, I've worked with some times over the years, in the 21 years I was in higher ed in Louisiana, the 4 years that I was in South Carolina, and since in Texas, budgetary environments are no joke for higher education, and we all have seen it. You know, for all those of you that have been in state government or leaders or been around the state of Louisiana, you can take a look at where we've come over the course of the last 30 years and the levels of funding that we actually had as institutions, and it's changed so dramatically. Right now, we are more tuition dependent than we ever have been before. So it's very important, number one, that we are transparent. Number two, it's very important that as a cabinet, as a leadership team at the university, the president, all the vice presidents, we work together to be able to craft reasonable solutions for our universities and all the divisions that we have at the university coming together. The priorities that we set as a university have to be critically developed. They have to be considered. They have to be vetted. This is something where we have to have faculty voice. We have to have student voice. We have to talk about the strategic vision of the institution, and we have to fund with those priorities in mind. So the first thing that a leader has to do is show that confidence. They have to show that you have a plan and that you have experience dealing with difficult budget situations. When I was in South Carolina, we had been sagging in enrollment for about 5 years. There was a potential that we couldn't even make payroll at that first part. So there were difficult decisions that had to be made with the president, with the various members of cabinet, with what we were doing for our enrollment strategy. So all of that had to be mission driven, and it had to be something that was transparent, and the discussions had to be, you know, something that you didn't do in quiet. You did in front of folks, and you had good and decent conversations. With that being said, if we take into consideration the budget environment that we have right now, you know, there are different things that you can do to bring the resources into the university community. And it's not just the president that is the one that is responsible for doing those things. We set the vision, we function as a team throughout our entire university community. We, at that point, first and foremost, we focus on restoring our enrollment. You know, if you take into consideration what we are charging students for tuition and fees versus the shortfall that we've had in enrollment, say over the course of the last 10 or 20 years, there are literally tens of millions of dollars in budget fundings that can come back. You know, in addition to that, we have to go after grant funding. We have to go after different advancement funding that we already currently do with our alumni, with various levels of support at the university. So that only indicates and showcases what we have to do to be able to prioritize where the funding sources come from. And we have to be honest about what we can do. The other thing is morale. You mentioned morale. You know, morale is not only, you know, the things like how much folks are getting paid, which I'm very critically, you know, committed to studying and making sure that we do provide a competitive wage and that we do pay our faculty and our staff competitively for the job that they are doing in our university. But it's not only that, it's providing the support for them to have professional development opportunities. It's the support to reward performance. It's the support that we have to make sure that our faculty and our staff have the different resources that they need to be able to teach our students and to meet our mission of imparting knowledge and be able to disseminate knowledge. But it's all of that together. And it starts with the president being right there in the trenches with our faculty and staff. You know, it's critically important. And I've worked with some really good presidents over time who have been vested in the universities, who are critically driven by the mission, but making sure everyone works together to be able to achieve that goal. So it's going to take some direction. It's going to take a strategic vision, and it's going to take us to understand where we've come from, especially the last 3 or 5 years, but where we are going to go. The solutions to our budget problems aren't going to be a one-year solution. They're going to be several years in the making, and it has to be something that we do together and that we are transparent. So thank you for the question, Dr. Love.
Very good. Supervisor Willis.
Thank you very much, Ms. Willis. As a student, you are right there in the classroom and understand what it takes for students to be successful. You not only have a lot of different things that you do as an individual, but you probably have a job or other things you're doing in addition to being a board member. You've got all your courses study and then what you're going to be doing after that. You have to have a social life too, and all those different things that are important. It starts very much when you go out recruiting students. You shape your retention effort right when you're going out there and you are starting your effort to bring in students to the university. There are critical decisions that you have to make as an institution, and some of that is to figure out what your admission requirements are going to be and how you help students come into the university. And if there are students who, like me, that were first gen, that were coming in at risk, that you give them an opportunity to be able to have the resources that are necessary, things like tutoring, writing center, all those different things, good advising to be able to help make sure that we put our students on a pathway to success. So it's something that we have to build, and it's something that I think the university has made some trajectory on this over the course of the last few years, but we have a ways to go. There are things that you can do in providing enriching experiences for students that are on campus. All the different student life opportunities are so very important, but the avenues for students to become engaged with our academic community, with our faculty, in mentorship programs, giving them an opportunity to do experiential learning, giving them an opportunity to grow in and outside the classroom is where we have to make a concerted effort. And I think that's an area that not only can we do as a university and within our faculty community and within our staff community on campus, I think there is a part of that we can engage our greater community in the Lake Charles area and indeed Imperial Calcasieu and throughout Southwest Louisiana to bring our mentors together and the folks in the community to have a vested interest in our student success. It isn't just what happens in the classroom, but it's everything that's associated with that. It's whenever students go through and they're brought into the university with orientation and extending orientation beyond that, having avenues for students to be able to go in to advising engagements in the fall and in the spring, talking with them. It's an opportunity for them to talk to a faculty mentor, to be able to work together, have people that are vested in interest for them to be able to be successful. When I was studying for my dissertation, I wrote about student persistence, especially students that were in the community college environment and how they were transferring into universities. And the student persistence part of that is they need folks that are invested in their levels of success and avenues for them to be able to come into the university and be successful, and what happens between the point at which they come into the university and graduation. So I talk about the student life cycle a lot in what I do every day, because it's about going after the student initially when you're recruiting them, but it's all the interventions that you do as a university along the way to help them to be successful. And that's the critical part that we do as a university. Student success begins when we are recruiting them, and it doesn't stop once they start at the university, and it continues until graduation.
Very good. Mr. Salter?
First of all, how do you prioritize academic excellence and at the same time realizing you got to balance the needs of diversity of students and faculty and staff?
Well, first and foremost, thank you very much, Mr. Salter, for your question. At the university, our academic enterprise is paramount. We are there to serve our students, and the dissemination of knowledge is what we do as a university. It's what our faculty take pride in. It's what our faculty excel in. It's what we as staff members at a university commit ourselves to help our students move forward. I think that when we look at the opportunities that we are giving to students when they come in the university, our commitment is to help that student to be successful. And that is one of the things, sir, that I achieved as a student, that I benefited from as a student, and that McNeese has done for years since it was founded. That wraparound service, that assistance that the faculty and staff give to students that actually have a vested interest in their levels of success. We have students coming in right now in a college setting that more first-generation students are coming in than ever before. At my current institution in Texas, we are an MSI and an HSI, and about 60 to 65% of our incoming students in our classes are all first gen. The student bodies right now are different than they ever have been before. So there is no cookie cutter approach to say that we should say this is what we have to do to help our students to be successful. There are a lot of different inflection points and intervention points that we have to look at as leaders to be able to go in and say our academic enterprise is first. what we give our students, the avenue for us to be able to help them be successful. It's figuring out where our students are at the front end when they come into the university, and it's to figure out what we have to do for that individual student to help them be successful. And again, every student's different. We have to make sure that we meet our students where they are, that we work and we provide the avenues for them to be able to reach success in all the different programs that we have on campus, with our mentorship engagements, with our advising engagements, with the interactions they have with our faculty and our community. It all plays an important part to work together to help our students reach the finish line. Thank you.
Mr. Robinson?
Thank you. Thank you. You've had a chance to visit with faculty, students, staff, alum, business leaders about this position. After thinking of those discussions, what do you think are the key issues for the next president, and how would you approach those issues?
Thank you very much for your question, Mr. Robinson. And I am uniquely in tune to this question because it is, when you're from Southwest Louisiana, you understand that all the interventions and things that happen to the university over time. And the people of Southwest Louisiana and McNeese are very resilient. They have worked through a lot of different things in the history of the institution. And when I met with the various groups of individuals on our campus, the one thing that always shows forth is the passion that people have for the university, across the university. The best assets the university has are our students and our faculty and our staff. People care, but a lot of people have been doing a lot of heavy lifting over the last 5 years, and they are very tired. They have worked, they have achieved, they have done a lot of great things to continue the mission of the university over the course of the last few years. I think the new president is coming in with opportunities. And first, let me say, Dr. Burkell, as a leader, has dealt with more over the course of the last few years than most leaders do in their entire tenure. And I think when you're dealing with a pandemic and 2 natural disasters in 1 year, I mean, that's a lot. So I think the new president has an opportunity to continue to rebuild the campus, to continue to address the needs of how the campus should grow in a new century. Avenues to determine what do our students need, what do our students want? What are the services that can be provided to our university community? I think that's first and foremost. As we continue to build out our campus, that's an opportunity. I think that, there are a lot of different needs for our university community and our students with regard to development and enhancement of our academic offerings. I think that there are a lot of different programs that have been enriching over the course of the last 30, 40 years at McNeese that I think we have an opportunity to again invest in and an opportunity to grow these things. Engineering is one of those areas that has always been a cornerstone of who McNeese was, and the connection with the university community and the community as a whole, especially our petrochemical industry, right around the Lake Charles area, have always been very important. So I think that there are avenues there to enhance those things. I think there's also new avenues to bring in other different areas for us to grow programs that will be important to the critical development of our infrastructure and our workforce development opportunities in Southwest Louisiana and in Southeast Texas, because we do draw a lot of students and have over time from Southeast Texas as well. So I think those are all opportunities. I think we have an opportunity to re-engage our greater community. And I'm not talking about just Lake Charles. I'm talking about Beauregard, Calcasieu, Cameron, Jeff Davis, Allen Parish, even beyond, Vermilion, Evangeline, Acadia, and into Southeast Texas. I think there are a lot of opportunities for us to grow relationships and build connections further with our community colleges and within our elementary and secondary educational systems within our community. So it's not only in our community, but it's also reinvigorating ourselves and reconnecting with our greater environment that help the university continue the educational mission for our region. So those are just a few examples, I think, of opportunities that exist. I think we have opportunities truly to engage in a lot of different areas and help the university reach a level of success, but also making sure that we serve the needs of our students in the greater area, but also at the same time helping commit to Southwest Louisiana and Southeast Texas and help it to grow and prosper. Thank you.
Very good. Supervisor Brasada.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Tell us about your vision for the university and how will you lead towards achieving that vision?
Thank you very much, Mr. Brasada. As I mentioned, my vision is one McNeese. That's what I call it, very simply. Because I think in order to move forward, if I can borrow a term from our former mayor of Lake Charles when I was there, Willie Mount, when she said moving forward together, I think that's the kind of the investment that we have to make into the university. We have to bring the university community, our different resources that we have, the connectors to the university, the supporters that we have, in order to help the university to begin to move forward. We have to restore what we've had as a university and grow back in not only on our campus, but within our areas around the university and the relationships that we have. I think we have to renew what we were doing with our enrollment, with our student experience, with the different offerings that we have in order to meet the needs of our greater community and our students, to help them compete in a global environment. And I think we have to re-engage, and that re-engagement is, as president, to make sure that I'm visible in our communities, to make sure I'm out there with our students, to make sure I'm out there with our alumni, to make sure that I'm out there in our schools, in area, because not only are you the executive at a university, not only are you the person to help make sure that we have the resources that our faculty need to be successful, to teach our students, to impart knowledge, but you have to be the cheerleader. You have to go out there and you have to cultivate the relationships, and you've got to go out there and be able to make a commitment and a connection with the different entities and the different constituent groups that the university has. So as a leader, that is what I commit to. Will I always have the answers? No. But you know what? I don't want to be the smartest person in the room. I want the smartest people to be in the room with me, and we have a discussion and a dialogue. That's not only our cabinet, that's our faculty, that's our staff. Because as one of the presidents I worked for said, when you bring in multiple people and you talk about issues and you talk about getting things done, you will make a superior decision. And as a leader, that is what I commit to. I won't have all the answers all the time. You know, if it's about enrollment, I probably will. But if it's about all the different things that come together as a leader, we have to be able to bring the voices together to make a better decision. That's the kind of leader I'll be. Thank you.
All right. Board members, any other questions? No? All right. Well, it's time for me to read the following statement. And that is that the Board of Supervisors for the University of Louisiana System may meet in executive session to discuss personnel matters associated with this search under the provisions of Louisiana Revised Statute 42:17. While in executive session, the board may not make any motions or take any votes. May I have a motion and a second to go into executive session? Well, that was quick. Moved and seconded. Supervisor Donahoe, seconded by Supervisor Stokes. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? To executive session we go. To room 1-165, and when we reconvene, we will remain in executive session to discuss the two finalists. So we won't be coming back out here in between. Board members, do me a favor and bring your iPads with you now into the executive session room. I'm not sure exactly why I get started, the Board of Supervisors for the University of Louisiana System met in executive session to discuss personnel matters associated with the search. While in executive session, no motions were made nor votes taken. Is there a motion?
Motion to return to open session.
Second.
Moved by Supervisor Romero, seconded by Supervisor Donahoe to reconvene in open session. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone saying nay? All right, we're back in open session. All right. At this point, is there a motion that someone would like to make?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to move that we appoint Wade Roos, President of McNeese State University, and authorize UL System President Rick Gallo and Board Chair Jimmy Clark to negotiate the terms of appointment and execute an offer of employment on behalf of the board.
All right, it has been moved and seconded that Dr. Wade Roos become the next president at McNeese State University. We need a roll call vote on that, Carol? Please call the roll.
Mr. Busada,
Yes.
Dr. Clark,
Yes.
Ms. Donahoe,
Yes.
Ms. Leatherman,
Yes.
Dr. Noble,
Yes.
Mr. Peterson, Mr. Robinson,
Yes.
Mr. Romero,
Yes.
Mr. Salter,
Yes.
Mr. Stevens,
Yes.
Ms. Stokes,
Yes.
Ms. Willis. It's unanimous and it's passed.
All right. Thank you, Carol, very much. I believe that the new McNeese State University president is going to be here momentarily. Is that correct? Up and then again, up.
He may have ran off and decided he didn't want to do it.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
All right. Congratulations, Dr. Roos. We congratulations. As is extraordinarily evident, you have been selected by the board as the next president for McNeese State University, and we are so very happy that you're here. If you could have a seat, and Angela, please join. Mr. President to be here, would you care to say a few words?
Oh, wow. I first, Mr. Chairman and board members and President Gallo, thank you. Thank you to the stakeholders. And I didn't know who was here. I kind of came in here with blinders in the first meeting, had no idea some of those folks were in the audience. McNeese family, Doc, thank you.
All right. Well, listen, we are all looking forward to working with you in your new capacity. And we will be moving forward shortly with discussions regarding that set of circumstances. So
Thank you so much.
And Angela, thank you so much for being a support to this gentleman. We had the occasion to speak during our conversations last week, at which time it became very evident that this was a two-person team. And I know that you're going to be a wonderful first lady. So thank you so much for being here. Oh, a photo. Oh, okay. Before we're going to ask for a photo to be taken here shortly, maybe with the entire board and you. But before that takes place, I did want to commend and once again thank the entire Lake Charles and McNeese State community. It has been an extraordinary process over the past few months. There's been a lot of discussion, a lot of honest, dialogue that has taken place, and I think it's been very healthy, and I think it's been very good. We as a board could certainly not have gotten to this position without the input and the sincere love that those of you who are here in person and those of you who are being live streamed have in the most extraordinary institution in Southwest Louisiana. So again, thank you so very much. And I would be remiss if I did not again thank our extraordinary UL system team headed by Dr. Erica Calais. The search process is not for the meek or mild, and she has stood up and has done an extraordinary job time and time again, and we just sincerely appreciate you. All right, with that, other comments before we go down to take a
Yeah,
picture?
just, congratulations, but I want to make sure we get invited to the dorm pizza party. We'll hold you to that.
Note that. We'll send formal invitations.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'd just like to make a couple of comments myself. So again, congratulations to Dr. Calais and the whole staff for a really just great process and the way this worked. And thank you to the McNeese family, and congratulations, Dr. Roos, and looking forward to the next 2 decades.
Amen.
All right, if board, well, do we need to unconvene? Is that such a thing? And then we'll go take the picture?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. I heard a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?